when I look at the reigning defending NBA champion Denver Nuggets, somebody needs to say it, so I'm going to say it. The Clippers appear to be the #1 threat to the Denver Nuggets in the Western Conference. But right now, when we look at the Los Angeles Clippers, what is there to say? You've got Zubac, a big man in the middle. You've got guys like Terrance Mann and Russell Westbrook who can give you some stuff, whether they're starting or coming off the bench. But when you look at the big three on the Los Angeles Clippers, it's official. It's Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, and James Harden. Who can't they score on? Who don't they have a chance to defend against when you have elite defenders like a Kawhi Leonard and a Paul George on your squad?
You know, you guys, I'm just going to jump straight into it with the Los Angeles Clippers, because whether you want to talk about the offense and how well they've been able to perform over the season so far, or you want to talk about the defense still being able to perform at a top 10 level despite some older players on the team, this Clippers team is currently looking like a team that can go all the way. But what's crazy about this is there's something that I don't think people realize about the Clippers that's going to make them even better going forward. But before we get into why I believe that, if you like Los Angeles Clippers content just like this, make sure to go down and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any Clippers videos going forward. Okay, so to get back on topic with the Los Angeles Clippers, this team came into the season, of course, with pretty high expectations considering you still had Kawhi Leonard and Paul George. But on top of that, right before the season, you went out and got James Harden, and while he might be a little bit old, he still can play at an extremely high level. This left a lot of people thinking the Clippers actually had a chance to go out and win it all, but of course, there were still the people that didn't think the Clippers would win it all, and they said that it wouldn't matter. But I'm here to tell you that this Clippers team is the real deal, and it starts with their amazing offense. I mean, of course, when you look at the names on this team and you combine them together, of course they're going to be a pretty solid offense, but they haven't just been a solid offense. They have been one of, if not the very best offenses in the NBA this year. The Clippers this season are currently a top 10 team in points scored per game. They're a top 5 team in total field goal percentage. They're the best team in the entire NBA in three-point percentage, almost at 40%. And finally, they're one of the best teams at not turning the ball over, considering they're a top 10 team in turnovers per game on offense as well. So I think it's pretty clear at this point how good the Los Angeles Clippers offense really is, and it obviously all starts with that guy Kawhi Leonard. Kawhi Leonard has been known as a defensive guy for the entirety of his career, but he really has, as he's gotten older, developed into one of the best scorers in the entire NBA, and this year he is just going absolutely insane. He's currently averaging almost 25 points per game, but that's not what I'm so impressed with. What I'm so impressed with is how efficient he's been able to be with the ball in his hands, because when you look at his field goal percentage, it's the highest that it's ever been in his entire career, and that also goes specifically for his three-point percentage, because the guy is shooting 45% from the three. I mean, that's just unfair if we're going to be completely honest. And to top that off, he's also having his best season ever as a free throw shooter as well, making almost 89% of his free throws. So if you need him to, he can definitely be the guy that carries you to a win. But what's so great about the Clippers is they don't just have to rely on one guy. They also have multiple other guys, starting with Paul George to help Kawhi Leonard out. Paul George is also averaging over 20 points a game, while also being extremely efficient, shooting over 40% from the three, and at the same time making over 90% of his free throws, which is obviously pretty crazy. So these two guys, of course, is the main duo on this team, and they're going to need to stay healthy if the Clippers want to be a serious team in the playoffs, because we've seen in the past few years one of these guys go down and get injured, and it just kind of ruined their chances of going all the way. So these two guys got to stay healthy, and we're also going to need that guy James Harden to stay consistent and be the player that we know he can be. I mean, yes, he is putting up some pretty solid numbers, but every once in a while we see him not have the greatest game, and we're going to need him to stay consistent to help out that main duo in Kawhi Leonard and Paul George. But even with those three guys being your big three, I think a lot of people overlook what solid bench players can do, and a perfect example of that is Russell Westbrook. Russell Westbrook, man, while he's not what he once was, he is still an extremely electric player, and when he comes in the game, you see the entire energy of the Clippers team change. He used to be known as a guy that was selfish with the ball, a guy that didn't want to pass much and he wanted to score a lot of points, but ever since he's gotten on the Clippers, he's really been that leader that the Clippers needed, and he really has been willing to put his scoring down to let other players thrive. This is a lot bigger advantage than I think most people give it credit, because whenever the Clippers are struggling, they can just throw Russ in there, and he really can change the entire game for them. And I said all of this without even mentioning Norman Powell or Terrance Marshall, who we all know are solid players as well that are going to help this team get to where they want to go. So the offense, man, player-wise and stat-wise, has proven to be one of the best offenses in the league. But what's crazy is that this Clippers team isn't just great on offense, they're also really good on the defensive side of the ball. Kawhi Leonard, as we all know, is one of the best defenders in the league. Paul George can play defense at an extremely high level as well. And man, while James Harden may have gotten heat for his defense in the past, he really has played some pretty solid defense with all things considered this year on the Clippers. This has led to the Clippers being a top 10 team in points allowed per game, a top 5 team in steals per game, while also being one of the better teams in the NBA at slowing down other teams' three-point shooting, which in this day and age is one of the most important things that you can do. These are pretty good numbers considering all the Clippers defense really needs to be is average due to how good their offense is, so the fact that their defense has been this good this season is really promising. Not to mention they've been missing one of their best defensive players in Ivica Zubac, so when they get him back, we can expect the defense to be even better than it's been recently. So, I mean, man, I don't know what to tell you. They're great on offense, and they're also great on defense to pair with that. So if they can find a way to stay healthy up until playoff time and in the playoffs, this is going to be one of the scarier teams that you're going to have to face. They're currently right up there near the top in the Western Conference with a great chance to win it, and if they can do that, it puts them in a great spot going forward, and I really do believe that they can do it. But, of course, that's just my opinion, so I'm still curious to know what you guys are thinking in the comments below. So let me know your thoughts on the Los Angeles Clippers this year and what you think they're going to accomplish going forward. And with that being said, I'll catch all of you guys in the next video.